Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I will be installing the GenRight fuel pump access panel onto my TJ Wrangler. Now I'm actually doing this for a couple of reasons, but the biggest reason is that the pump that is currently in my stock fuel tank is a lift pump designed for a diesel engine. It's not the factory fuel pump, and I've had to deal with some interesting situations around it. Specifically, I don't have the lever arm bent correctly to accurately tell me how much fuel is in it. It never reads fully full, and I think when it's empty my gauge reads at about a quarter of a tank. And instead of having to drop it, bend the arm, put it back in, test it, drop it, and do that back and forth, I decided it was just going to be easier to have a port right here, or a panel I should say, that I could take off, lift the pump out, adjust it, put it back in, and try it again for another couple of tanks to see if I can finally get it correct. Also, it's going to be helpful because I want to do some overlanding with this Jeep, and I do have a spare lift pump. If it ever goes bad on me on the trail, I'll be able to fix it without having to drop my fuel tank, which would be really nice. So with that said, I'm going to start getting this all figured out. The first thing I'll be working on is actually removing the carpet out of my Wrangler. It's actually bolted down with the brackets for the rear bench seat and these two brackets right here. So I'm going to get to removing all this. Found the instructions and realized they say to put down blue tape before you mark and cut this. So that's what I'm going to do. With all the tools that I need, the big one being the jigsaw with the metal cutting blade. I don't own a jigsaw, so I had to borrow one from my father-in-law. We're now going to drill 4 pilot holes so we have a place to start. Then we're going to cut out this center section of the rear tub of my Wrangler. It feels really odd cutting up my tub. Just never thought I'd be doing this. I messed up. I'm gonna have to repair the wiring harness on the back. Looks like I only hit 2 wires. The funny thing is, I measured all this. I thought for sure I was gonna miss those wires, so yeah, if you do this, make sure you're not going to hit your wiring harness. The way I'm going to repair this is I have some of these waterproof butt connectors. And one of the downside is once you heat shrink these 2 pieces together, you really can't pull them apart again. But the reason why I'm going to use these is it gives me enough length that I need so I don't have to use additional wire to repair, well, quite frankly, the mistake I made. So going with these. The other thing I'm going to do is swap which side is the male and the female. That way, if I ever have to take this back apart for whatever reason, and I can't see which color wire is which, obviously I'll be able to just put the male to the female. Alright everyone, I have all the holes drilled. I just realized this is bare metal. The top plate is aluminum, but this is steel, so I'm actually going to paint this real quick before we put the body sealer on it and pop rivet it into place. So I'll be back soon. Hey everyone, it has been a couple of weeks since I last worked on this. When you last saw me working on this, I said I was going to paint this metal piece because it was just bare metal. It's now painted, it's been dried, it's been sitting here for about 2 weeks. I did change out the rivets for some longer rivets I had, because that shouldn't cause any issues. And mostly I was doing this for a test fit. But now with all that here, I finally have everything I need to put the 3M body sealer around the edge of this piece So I'm going to apply this, and once I start applying this, I have 6 minutes to get this piece back in and start getting all the rivets in, because this completely cures within an hour. So I'm not really going to talk for the next little bit. I'm going to be focused on getting this installed. I'm going to let everything cure for the next hour, and then I'll come back and check on everything. See you soon. All right, everyone, it's been a couple of hours. This is all set. This will actually install like that, and I'll have access to the lift pump in my TJ Wrangler fuel tank. But before we install this, I'm going to finally reinstall my fuel tank back on my Wrangler with the aluminum skid plate, which I'm actually really excited about. But I realized I haven't installed the straps yet, but I have the longer hardware to be able to do that. So I'm going to install this real quick, try to get this fuel tank onto my transmission jack, because that's the best thing I have to lift it, and hopefully get this reattached to my Wrangler. I'm going to get to work. This right here makes it worth it. Trying to get this tank back in. Like, just plugging in the pump. It's going to be so easy now. The gas tank is back in. And now I'm going to show you one of the reasons why I love this setup so much. I installed the tank, I've tightened all the bolts, I haven't hooked up anything yet, but because of the access panel, now I'll be able to. So I'm going to route the fuel lines and the wiring harness up here. I'll move the camera and show you how it works. Be right back. As you can see, here is the pigtail for my lift pump. All I have to do, slide it in and lock. And it's easy as that. Now, I need to hook these two lines back up to the fuel system. And this is also going to be easy. Now, notice these are two different sizes. The supply line is bigger than the return line. And just so I don't get them confused, I can sit here and basically feed. I can't see. Can't even see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to feed the return line. Now this line is smaller, so I should be able to, get it through without having to remove the hose clamp, which is very nice. So I'll be back. All right, everyone, that's all I'm going to be doing this evening. I am very happy with the progress. I have not reinstalled the fuel filler system yet. I'll do that next week. And speaking of next week, I have all of next week off. I am not working. And my sole purpose next week is to get this Kubota-powered Wrangler running again. I have all the parts. I have the drive shafts. I have all the components for the Ford 6R80, for its TCU, the shifters, the cooling. I have everything. And I don't know quite yet how it's going to be filmed or how soon I'm going to upload it, but I have 1 week off of work and I'm going to try to maximize it. So a lot of things are hopefully going to be happening very, very soon with this build. But anyway, I wanted to thank everyone that has been subscribing, commenting, and just everyone that I get to talk with through this channel. It really means the world to me, and I really enjoy interacting with all of you, and I just wanted to thank you so much. But hey, it's YouTube. You know what to do. Take out more than you bring, tread lightly, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.